Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriyet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtake. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, today we're starting new chapter, chapter 6, the glories of Sri Advaita Acharya. Text 1 onwards. Vande tam Srimad Advaita Charyam Adbhuta Cheshtitam Yasya Prasada Tagyo Api Tat Swarupam Nirupayet. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Advaita Acharya, whose activities are all wonderful. By his mercy, even a foolish person can describe his characteristics. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Panchashloke Kahila Shri Nityananda Tattva Shloka Dvaye Kahi Advaitacharya Mahatva. Advaitacharya Mahatva. In 5 verses, I've described the principle of Lord Nityananda. Then in the following 2 verses, I describe the glories of Shri Advaitacharya. Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Yasrijati Ada Tasyavatara Evayam Advaitacharya Ishvara. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. Advaitam Harinadvaitad Acharyam Bhakti Shamshanat Bhaktavataram Isham Tam Advaita Acharya Mashray. Because he is not different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of the Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. He is the Lord and the incarnation of the Lord's devotee. He is both. That's why it's called Advaita Acharya. Advaita means because he's non-different from Hari, but he propagates the cult of devotion, so he's called Acharya. He's called Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya Gosai Sakshat Ishvara Yahara Mahima Nahe Jivera Gochara. Sri Advaita Acharya is indeed directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. His glory is beyond the conception of ordinary living beings. Mahavishnu Srishti Karen Jagadadikarya Tara Avatara Sakshat Advaita Acharya. Mahavishnu performs all the functions for the creation of the universes. Sri Advaita Acharya is his direct incarnation. Ye Purusha Srishti Siti Karena Mayaya Ananta Brahmanda Srishti Karena Lilaya. That Purusha creates and maintains with his external energy. He creates innumerable universes in his pastimes. Ichaya Ananta Murti Karena Prakasha Eka Eka Murti Karen Brahmande Pravesha. By his will, he manifests himself in unlimited forms in which he enters each and every universe as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Se Purushera Anshadvaita Nahi Kichu Bheda Sharira Visheshatara Nahi Ka Vicheda. Shri Advaita Acharya is a plenary part of that Purusha and so is not different from him. Indeed, Shri Advaita Acharya is not separate, but is another form of that Purusha. So that Purusha means Mahavishnu. Sahaya Karen Tara Laya Pradhan Koti Brahmanda Karen Chaya Nirman. He, Advaita Acharya, helps in the pastimes of the Purusha, with whose material energy and by whose will he creates innumerable universes. Jagat Mangal Advaita, Mangal Guna Dham, Mangal Charitra Sada, Mangal Yadanam. Being a reservoir of all auspicious attributes, Sri Advaita Acharya is all auspicious for the world. His characteristics, activities, and name are always auspicious. So he is all auspicious for the world. And actually, it is also said, maybe it will come later, I don't know where it is written. Advaita Acharya is also incarnation of Sadashiv. Sadashiv, as we know, is a glance of Mahavishnu, personified form of glance of Mahavishnu on the material world. So Advaita Acharya is also called incarnation of Sadashiv, and Shiv, the name Shiv, literally it means all auspicious. So here it also says Shri Advaita Acharya is all auspicious for the world. He is a reservoir of all auspicious attributes. Everything is Mangal, auspicious about him. Shri Advaita Prabhu is an incarnation of Mahavishnu, is an Acharya or teacher. All his activities and all the other activities of Vishnu are auspicious. Anyone who can view the all auspiciousness in the pastimes of Lord Vishnu also becomes auspicious simultaneously. Therefore, since Lord Vishnu is the fountainhead of auspiciousness, anyone who is attracted by the devotional service of Lord Vishnu can render the greatest service to human society. So anyone who is attracted by the devotional service of Lord Vishnu can render the greatest service to human society. And what is the greatest service to human society is to engage others in the devotional service of Vishnu or Krishna. Rejected persons of the material world who refuse to understand pure devotion service as the eternal function of the living entities and as actual liberation of the living being from conditioned life become bereft of all devotional service because of their poor fund of knowledge. And these are that's why it's rejected persons. In the teachings of Advaita Prabhu, there is no question of fruitive activities or impersonal liberation. So no karma and no liberation or moksha, nirvikara, moksha. Bewildered by the spell of the material energy, however, persons who could not understand that Advaita Prabhu is non-different from Vishnu wanted to follow him with their impersonal conceptions. The attempt of Advaita Prabhu to punish them is also auspicious. Lord Vishnu and his activities can bestow all good fortune directly and indirectly. So there were some people who did not understand Advaita Prabhu's position. So they wanted to follow him with impersonal conceptions, Mayavad philosophy. But attempt of Advaita Prabhu to punish them is also auspicious. That's Advaita Prabhu, everything is Manga. Because Lord Vishnu and his activities can bestow all good fortune directly or indirectly. In other words, being favored by Lord Vishnu and being punished by Lord Vishnu are one and the same, because all the activities of Vishnu are absolute. According to some, Mangal was another name of Advaita Prabhu. So some say Mangal was another name of Advaita Prabhu. As a causal incarnation, or Lord Vishnu's incarnation for a particular occasion, he is a supply agent or ingredient in material nature. However, he is never to be considered material. All his activities are spiritual. Anyone who hears about and glorifies him becomes glorified himself. For such activities, frees one from all kinds of misfortune. One should not invest any material contamination or impersonalism in Vishnu form. Everyone should try to understand the real identity of Lord Vishnu, for by such knowledge one can attain the highest stage of perfection. So any activities of Vishnu, any pastimes of Vishnu his form, it's all spiritual. And one who tries to understand it properly, he gets perfection. Koti Ansha, Koti Shakti, Koti Avatar, Ete Laya Sriya Purush Sakala Sansara. Mahavishnu creates entire material world with millions of his parts, energies, and incarnations. Maya yache dui ansha nimita upadan, Maya nimita hetu upadana pradhan. Purusha Ishvara aiche dvimurti haiya, Vishwa srishti kare nimit upadana daye. Just as the external energy consists of two parts, the efficient cause, nimit, and the material cause, upadan. Maya being the efficient cause, and pradhan, the material cause. So Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, assumes two forms to create the material world with efficient and material causes. So efficient cause is nimit, and material cause is upadan. We just have to remember these two technical terms. There are two kinds of research to find the original cause of creation. One conclusion is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the all-blissful, eternal, all-knowing form, is indirectly the cause of this cosmic manifestation, and directly the cause of the spiritual world, where there are innumerable spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas, as well as his own personal abode known as Golok Vrindavan. In other words, there are two manifestations, the material cosmos and the spiritual world. As in the material world, there are innumerable planets and universes. So in the spiritual world, there are also innumerable spiritual planets and universes, including the Vaikunthas and Golok. The Supreme Lord is a cause of both the material and spiritual worlds. Another conclusion, of course, is that this cosmic manifestation is caused by an inexplicable, unmanifested void. This argument is meaningless. So some say it came from Vishnu or Supreme Lord, and some say everything came from void, zero. But how can so much of variety come from zero, nothing? But so many people follow that philosophy. The first conclusion is accepted by the Vedanta philosophers, and the second is supported by the atheistic philosophical system of the Sankhya Smriti, which directly opposes the Vedantic philosophical conclusion. So the second system, that everything comes from void, or for them impersonal, or light is everything. So that's where there's a difference between the Vaishnava conclusions and the Sankhya Smriti conclusions. Material scientists cannot see any cognizant spiritual substance that might be the cause of the creation. Because they don't see anything, they say there's no person, spiritual. But to see spiritual personality, we have to be spiritual ourselves. Our eyes have to be spiritual. Such atheistic Sankhya philosophers think that the symptoms of knowledge and living force visible in the innumerable living creatures are caused by the three qualities of the cosmic manifestation. Therefore, the Sankhyites are against the conclusion of Vedanta regarding the original cause of creation. So they say living forces, symptoms of knowledge, living force visible in the innumerable living creatures within all of us are caused by three qualities: goodness, passion, and ignorance. But they cannot explain where did they all come from and who made this universe. Factually, the Supreme Absolute Spirit Soul is a cause of every kind of manifestation, and he is always complete, both as the energy and as the energetic. The cosmic manifestation is caused by the energy of the Supreme Absolute Person, in whom all energies are conserved. So he is the source of all the energies. And sometimes this is what people say, so who is the source of the Supreme Lord? God, Krishna, Vishnu. He doesn't have a source. He is the source of everything. He's a Anadir Adir Govinda. He doesn't have a beginning, but he is a beginning of everything. Philosophers who are subjectively engaged in the cosmic manifestation can appreciate only the wonderful energies of matter. Such philosophers accept the conception of God only as a product of the material energy. According to their conclusions, the source of energy is also a product of the energy. Such philosophers wrongly observe that the living creatures within the cosmic manifestation are caused by the material energy. And they think that the supreme absolute conscious being must similarly be a product of the material energy. So such philosophers, see, another thing that Prabhupada, he never did was attack any person. He just attacked the philosophy. So he didn't name the philosophers. He could have easily done that. But such philosophers wrongly observed that the philosophy is living creatures within the cosmic manifestation are caused by the material energy. But the living creatures are not like soul. Soul does not come from material energy. But this part, philosophers cannot understand, scientists cannot understand. It's a very long purport, because as I said, whenever there was talks of Mayavad philosophy, Prabhupada gave long, long purports. Since materialistic philosophers and scientists are too much engaged with their imperfect senses, naturally they conclude that the living force is a product of material combination. But the actual fact is just the opposite. Matter is a product of spirit. According to Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Spirit, the personality of Godhead, is the source of all energies. When Krishna says, Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu Khammano Buddhi Revacha Ahankar Ityam me Bhinna Prakriti Rashtava. These are my 8 separated energies. So these energies don't come from nowhere, and these energies don't produce a living being. Living being produces the energy. When one advances in research work by studying a limited substance within the limits of space and time, one is amazed by the various wonderful cosmic manifestations. And naturally, one goes on hypnotically accepting the path of research work or the inductive method. Inductive method or the research work means, on my own, by studying everything, I'll try to find out the truth. By studying the nature, studying the energy, studying various wonderful cosmic manifestations. And actually, there is no need to do the research work. Everything is given in the Vedas. All we have to do is adopt it. That's all. And this is what Prabhupada says. Through the deductive way of understanding. So deductive way is getting the knowledge from up above, learning from them, acharyas, the disciplic succession. Through the deductive way of understanding, however, one accepts a supreme absolute person, the personality of God, as a cause of all causes, who is full with diverse energies and who is neither impersonal nor void. The impersonal manifestation of the Supreme Person is another display of his energy. So impersonal manifestation is what? Brahmajyoti. But he is not just impersonal manifestation. He is a person, Supreme Person. Therefore, the conclusion that matter is the original cause of creation is completely different from the real truth. The material manifestation is caused by the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is inconceivably potent. The material manifestation is caused by the glance, just a glance. It doesn't even have to sit down like sometimes people show in some cartoons or he says that, oh, he sat down with the chisel and hammer and is making. No, he doesn't have to. That's why he's a supreme Lord. Just by his glance, and everything is created. In other words, the Supreme Personality of God is actually realized in the vision of a material philosopher and scientist through the manifestations of his material energy. For one who does not understand the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his diverse energies because of not knowing the relationship between the source of the energies and the energies themselves, there is always a chance of error, which is known as vivarta, or it's also called vivartavad. So many people talk different things about the energies of the Lord, and they give their philosophy based on this or this or this. It's all nonsense. As long as materialistic scientists and philosophers do not come to the right conclusion, certainly they will hover above the material field, bereft of proper understanding of the absolute truth. But this is what everybody has. So many scientists and philosophers are there in the material, and everybody is bringing out their own conclusions. And when Prabhupada called them Modas, fools and rascals, he did not say it because he was saying it. He was saying because Krishna said that in Bhagavad Gita, those who don't surrender unto me are fools, naradhams, lowest of the mankind. Moodas. Because we all respect scientists for whatever research work they have done, and they have so much of brains to do so much, study so much, understand so much. But if they don't come to this conclusion that everything comes from God, Krishna, then what's the use of this scientific research? Yes, scientists can say, oh, we have developed so many things that we can cure this disease or that disease, and so much of medicine and other things are available for a comfortable life. But if we look at it really analytically, is it? Have they really made our lives comfortable, or it has made it more troublesome now? We can just look at 2-3 generations back. They used to live healthy life. Yes, they didn't have that many facilities to go from, say, India to America and just take a plane and come. But what's the point in going from India to America? End of the day, all we need is good meal, good healthy lifestyle, and end of life, we just leave our body. With idea is to think of the Lord or chant the holy names of the Lord. If our lifestyle is simple, then we have more chances of using the time in the service of the Lord. But now the lifestyle is not simple. It's very, very difficult and very difficult and not straightforward. It's very going in a roundabout way. And so we don't have time for the basic things of our life. And then we say, oh, these scientists have made everything so nice for us. We waste time. We waste so much of time on internet, TV, mobile phones, and collecting so many things that are not necessary in our lives. Rather, we should be spending time in the service of the Lord and coming to this understanding that everything comes from the Supreme Lord, and we should use our time in His service. But we have made it very complicated. And the scientists, it's basically has become that if you believe in God and if you're using your time in service of the Lord, then you're not, you're a very backward person. You're not progressive. So anyway, Prabhupada has given a very long purport. We'll take it up tomorrow from where we are leaving today. So we'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.